here's what I would say, Josh. Double down on your output. Double down on it. Like, what do I mean by that? Like, right now, for me, I'm doubling down on my output. Morning, sunshines, and welcome back to another episode of the Todd Impact Show. And I must admit, right now, I am feeling like $1 million. Yeah, I just got done with a great workout. As a matter of fact, as I record this, I'm in my home office. I've got my headband still on. I smell. If you take a deep breath in, you could probably catch a nice whiff of me. And man, the motion is all done. My muscles are quivering. My legs are quivering. My arms are quivering. I just did an awesome workout. 20 minutes. I got out there and I moved the pup. Jersey dog was out there. We got a great walk in. And then check this out. Maybe you want to do the same. I did a bunch of EMOMs. You know what EMOMs are? Every minute on the minute. Check out this routine. Matter of fact, you may want to try this later on today. 10 reps of this. EMOMs. 10 minutes. 10 push-ups, 10 band splitters. Okay, so basically 10 every minute on the minute. So 10 push-ups, 10 splitters. If you do that in 30, 35 seconds, you got, 25 seconds off, 10 minutes of that. Then circuit number 2, squats and TRX rows. EMOMs, 10 minutes. And then circuit 3, same exact thing. Dumbbell RDLs, I use 25 pounds, use what you want. And then some dumbbell curls. I use 25 pounds, use what you want. 10 minutes of EMOMs, 3 different coupling of exercises. My goodness, I am feeling so good. Matter of fact, I got 230 MEPs on my MyZone. 230 MEPs. That's a good day right there. So I hope you go out right now. Maybe go for a walk. Maybe you're going to get a little workout. Maybe you're going to get some EMOMs in today. But whatever it is, I hope that this episode today fuels your body, fuels your mind, fuels your spirit. As always, I literally just set a stopwatch. I'm going to make this 30 minutes, and then wherever I'm at, I'm going to cut it off because today is all about you. It's Q&A day. I'm bringing back Q&A. You guys have done an amazing job asking questions. Thank you. Keep the questions coming, and I want to get your feedback if you like Q&A day because you guys have some great questions. They're all over the board from body, from mind, from mindset, right, and from profession. So is anyone else fired up, by the way, that tomorrow is May 1st? Like April is gone. We're 1 week closer to getting out of this quarantine. And man, I am pumped up that tomorrow is May. And thank you for all of you who are on the book launch team. Saturday, May 2nd, we have a big Zoom coaching call. So if you're not on that team, we are having truly last call to be on the book launch team. Go to toddurkin.com/launch, toddurkin.com/launch. It's free. You get the Get Your Mind Right book for free. Up to 200 people will get the physical copy of the book, but you'll get the digital copy. You'll get the audio copy when we record that. So please, if you're not on that team, now's a great time to be on that. And we have a huge Zoom coaching call this Saturday, May 2nd. So if you want to be on it, now's a great opportunity to do that. And thank you for all of your comments that are coming through. We've got some great emails and DMs and that. I want to highlight one that came through the other day. And this is one that caught my eye, and it's from Derek Blacksher. He said, wakey, baby. My name is Derek Blacksher. I hope this email welcomes you having a great start to your day. You better believe it, Derek, an incredible start to the day. I wanted to share with you an impact story that's a result of all the great things you're doing. A quick background story of me. I grinded it out and played 9 years of minor league baseball after playing college baseball at McNeese State University. By the way, McNeese State University, we had a football game there once, and that was the craziest place we ever played a playoff football game when I was at William & Mary. I now own F45 Greatwood, a fitness studio in Sugar Land, Texas. I have followed your work for many years and recently joined your Get Your Mind Right book launch team, and I'm ready to breathe some fire into that. Thank you, Derek. I want to share with you that I recently was asked to speak through Zoom to a group of athletes at McNeese State. This group is the FCA group at McNeese, which had a huge impact on my life. Amen on that. Me too. While I was there, I had some amazing feedback, and it was awesome to be a lighthouse. I'm sharing this with you, not because I think you need help creating content, but simply because a lot of what I shared is from listening and learning from your messages. I just wanted you to know your impact is a crazy ripple effect. Keep bringing it. Hope to meet you one day. And I'm loving the GNN and the podcast. Derek Blacksher, thank you so much for those comments. I appreciate it. I read every single email that comes through, all of your comments on Facebook and on Instagram. And these right here are these fuel my soul. So keep it coming. So, hey, today I talked about that I'm going to be doing Q&A, and that's exactly what I'm going to hop into now. So as you're getting your movement time in, or you're just listening in, I'm going to roll up my sleeves, my sweaty sleeves with the headband on. I still have my heart rate monitor. I want to measure how many calories and MEPs I get here today on this podcast. But hey, the podcast is actually fueling my soul. So thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for being here. First question. This one comes from Karina, and I'm not sure it's Stuke or Stuke, but Karina Stuke. Stuke, and this is what she asks. Thank you for all of the inspiring work you put out in the world. The best part about it is our entire family can participate in your program and social media blasts. Our 3 kids are inspired by how open you are about your faith, and they're learning how to use their training as an act of worship and testimony to what God has done for them in their lives. Keep pressing on. You're making a difference. Thank you. Our family's been faithful daily participants in your Get Yoked program. As a matter of fact, I'm the mom of Reagan Stuke, the young female athlete who had a 10-minute and 3-second plank. Wow, that's impressive. She's kicking my butt in all of these challenges, mine too, but I won't quit. I can hear your voice in my head, and I can keep telling her I'm coming for her. Okay, so here's my burning question as a coach who works with high school athletes. What exercises or movements do you recommend high school athletes do immediately after school, even if it's online school right now at home? They've been sitting for sometimes up to 5 to 8 straight hours, and I know they're not maximizing their speed and power output after sitting in tiny desks with poor posture. How can they gain a competitive advantage and undo the hours of sitting and computer use? Woo-hoo! Good question. This is going right into the field. I'm talking turkey now on this Karina. And by the way, check her out on IG at Karina Stuke. It's Stuke. So Karina, please forgive me if it's how it's pronounced, but it's Stuke. Karina, thank you for that. Check that out on Instagram. So a few things for all folks that are sitting down a lot right now, which is most people, because most people are quarantined and not moving around and stretching the way we should. So I have 3 parts the way I would answer that question for all you high school athletes, all you desk jockeys, all you entrepreneurs who are sitting way too much right now. Now let's go into talking turkey. Number 1, the dynamic warm up that should precede every workout that you're doing right now is one where you integrate flexibility into that. And when you integrate flexibility into it, I'm specifically speaking of integrating hip flexor and hip mobility into that. So when you're doing Frankenstein walks, when you're doing reverse lunge with a reach overhead, these are all movements that are going to open up your hips, because when you're sitting, your psoas muscles, your PSOAS muscles, not the muscle that's going to be so when you do the Get Yoked program, the psoas muscle, that's PSOAS on that. That's your hip flexor muscle, wink, wink. Yeah, but you got to stretch out your hip flexors or psoas muscle on that. The other thing I would say when you're doing the dynamic warm-up and movement that's important to integrate for all people is lateral movements. I call it the frontal plane. That's what it's called, frontal plane, because right now, many times it's in the sagittal plane. So when you think about squats and lunges and push-ups and bench press, that's all sagittal plane. I want to go frontal plane. So lateral movements are very important for not only athletes, but all folks. So that could be a lateral band walk. That could be lateral shuffles. That could be karaokas, lateral lunges, right? Lateral lunges are important. Exaggerated karaokas. Why? Because when we're going side to side, that's working on your hips, and both your exterior hips, your like glute medius and maximus, as well as also your adductor muscles as well, your ADD muscles, your groins. And then lastly, when it comes to what other movements should you integrate when you're doing some movement before or during your workout, if you are moving forward, you should also move lateral, yes, but you should also do backwards movements. And that's from like backward skips, backward runs. And if you're doing uphill sprints right now, like in the Get Yoked program, I'm having folks do a lot of interval sprints. Don't just sprint forward, sprint backwards. So sprinting backwards is great. If you go to a track, and I can't wait for the day when we go to tracks again, if you don't have access to a track yet because of this quarantine, do some backward running. So if you want to go fast forward, you also have to accelerate going backward as well. So that would all be the movement aspects on that. And the second thing I'd say, again, at 3 parts, is weight room work. So weight room work. Now let's talk in normal situation, because some of you have access to weight rooms in your homes, or some folks are starting to loosen up standards and have studios open up in some states. But what's critical when you're doing strength training is the backside of the body, because when you're sitting all day, or most athletes work the mirror muscles, they work the chest, the arms, the quads, the things that you see. But what's most important is the backside. Well, how do you work your backside? Assisted pull-ups. So putting a super band around a pull-up machine and doing assisted pull-ups where you can actually feel a squeeze of the latissimus dorsi or lats, rows, or lawnmowers. Y'all know what a lawnmower is, kiddos? So rows, right? Dumbbell rows, TRX rows, and RDLs, Romanian deadlifts. I talked about that was part of my EMOMs this morning, every minute on the minute. The RDLs, Romanian deadlifts, when you're pivoting from your hip, that works your glutes, the backside of your body. On that double leg and single leg RDLs are some of the best movements that an athlete can do to really focus on strength and power, because all the power is generated from your glutes and your hips and your trunk. So you want to really strengthen, and RDLs are a great movement for that. And again, please don't forget, when it comes to strength training, frontal plane, the lateral lunge, and whether you're doing with body weight, you're holding a kettlebell into a goblet squat position, you're holding a medicine ball, lateral lunges, slowly eccentrically going into the lateral lunge. And then as you hit the ground, you're coming off and exploding back, is a great movement to help with not only strengthening your groins, but also agility, because agility is the acceleration, deceleration, or the ability to change direction in the shortest amount of time possible. So lateral movement is really, really important when it comes to improving agility as well. And then when it comes to weight room, I'm liking this talk, by the way. It's been a little while. I feel like I'm back in the gym. This is good. I love complex training. Now, what's complex training? Complex training is when you're actually combining a strength movement with a plyometric movement. Strength plus speed equals power. One more time, strength plus speed equals power. So some of my favorite coupling of exercises, which are examples of complex training, would be like a hex bar deadlift. Let's say you do 5 reps on the hex bar dead. Immediately, when you put the weight down, you would do 5 explosive jumps, whether they be leapfrogs or squat jumps or lunge hops. So it's a strength plus a speed. If you're doing a barbell squat or a kettlebell squat, 3 to 5 squats, re-rack the weight, and again, explosive jumps. Or if it's an upper body movement, it would be, an example would be a bench press. If you're doing 5 to 8 bench presses, re-rack the weight and immediately go into a bench plyometric clap push-up. So you've got strength, and all of a sudden you're exploding. So you're recruiting maximum fast twitch muscle fiber. Or you're going to grab a medicine ball after the bench press and you're doing explosive throws. So you throw it, you sprint up to it, you throw it back and forth. So you're getting that explosive movement. Strength plus speed is power. So that's important. And lastly, when it comes to some of these movements, Karina, to answer your question, like what other movements can athletes be doing if they're sitting a lot? Or I'm going to again say athletes, everyone's an athlete. Stretching. Stretching is really important. So if you're sitting a lot, so what stretches can one do? Number one, the chest. Because if you're doing a lot of push-ups, which right now in the midst of a quarantine, a lot of these bodyweight movements are a lot of front side. It's hard if you don't have a pull-up machine or a bar or a TRX to do a lot of rowing or dumbbells. So a lot of chest. So what can you do? You can go through a doorway and stretch your chest and hold for 30 seconds to take 3 to 5 nice deep breaths on that, or hold a rope or jump rope or a towel and get your chest. The other important muscles to stretch right now are the piriformis muscle. And the piriformis muscle is important because your sciatic nerve runs through your piriformis. So when you're sitting, if the sciatic nerve gets entrapped, that's called sciatica. And some of you have had sciatic pain before, and that's not any fun. So like pigeon pose is a great stretch to work on the piriformis muscle so that it does not entrap that sciatic nerve. Working on your groins. So butterfly stretch and half kneeling rockers, I call them half kneeling rockers, to get your groins. And once again, your half kneeling stretch where you kneel on one knee and then you lift up and over and back to stretch out your psoas. Once again, your psoas is PSOAS. It's your hip flexor muscle. So even 10 minutes of stretching is a great way to open up the front side of the body and your hips. If you want to change an athlete, stretch more in the hips, the glutes, the hip flexors, the hamstrings, and again, the chest, because the chest, you don't want to have an upper cross syndrome as well. So, hey, enough of that. That is a great question, and I enjoyed answering that one. So, Karina, thank you very much with that question right there. On to the next one. Some of these will be short and sweet as well because we're on the clock. Next one goes to Sarah Jones. Sarah, I can't seem to concentrate on reading like I used to anymore and found myself gravitating more to podcasts, yours included, as always, Didi. Thank you. Have you got any tips to focus my mind back onto reading? Love your podcast. Always. Thank you. Yeah, you know what? Par for the course. I think a lot of people are having a difficult time focusing right now. So it could be literally carving out in your schedule, let's say in the afternoon, 1 to 2 hours of personal time. And that's not all reading. It could be taking a short power nap, 10 to 20 minute power nap, going for a walk, and then coming home and reading 3 to 5 pages. It could be simply like reading 3 to 5 pages. Because if you're reading something compelling, then it also could then like, okay, I'm going to read a little bit more. Also, it might even be short attention span right now. Maybe it's a magazine. And just the fact that you're reading a magazine that you enjoy, you're getting your mind off of whatever it is that you might be watching or listening to. And nothing wrong with podcasts. I encourage you to keep listening to podcasts. But there is something I think therapeutic and very good for the brain to actually read. My WOW book. Go back to my WOW book. Many of you have my WOW book. Great example of the reason why I wrote it the way I did was because many people have a short attention span. Those chapters are actually 2, 3, 4 pages long, many of them. So it's short and sweet. And you can go to chapter 50 before chapter 1 if you wanted to and bounce around. So even books like that or Tools for the Titans by Timothy Ferriss are great types of books, styles of books if you want to. But get ready because, again, Get Your Mind Right's coming up, and that's a must read. So that's a great question, Sarah. Thank you for asking that. Here's one. Lana Saul. Again, Saal. Lana, thank you very much for the question. What are your top 3 fears? You got to have some, and what and how do you work through them? Ooh, that's a good question. Again, I'm going through all these questions here. I've got a lot. I'm not going to probably get through all of them today in the 30 minutes, but I can think of my first fear pretty easily. I think my first fear is that I'm not going to live up to my potential. That would be my first fear. There's so many things I want to do, and I always feel like there's never enough time to do what I want to do. And you might be like, well, Todd, you're doing a lot. It's what I always hear. How do you get everything done that you're getting done? And I'm always like, well, I don't feel like I'm getting everything I'm wanting to do done. So I don't think that is actually true. There's a lot of things that I want to get done that I'm not getting done. But the bottom line is the only way you know potential is you ask God and say, what is it that you want me to do with my life, and how am I going to get there? And you tap into that. So that's one of my greatest fears is, one of my things with my potential is I love to help other people achieve their best self. So even part of the purpose of the podcast is to help people like you who are listening in right now become the best that you can possibly become. So I always want to create more content. I've doubled down on content during this COVID-19 quarantine. I guess the second thing, and this is just real talk, is like one of my greatest fears is that something bad would happen to my wife or one of my kids. And I don't think about that a lot, but every now and then I pinch myself that how fortunate and lucky I am that we have our health, that we don't have any major health crises right now in our life. Because let me tell you what, the Durkin family would be in trouble without Melanie. We'd be in deep trouble without my wife. We'd have to really step up our game because she does so much for me, for the kids, for the business, for our foundation. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that, but man, I do spend it in gratitude. So that every now and then, if my mind goes there, I'm fearful of that. And the kids, a good friend of mine, Larry Naviglia, you've heard me mention before, he once said this, that a mom or dad is only as happy as their saddest child. Mom or dad is only as happy as their saddest child. And as a parent, and I that's the hardest, most challenging, and most rewarding title I wear as a dad, is you only want to see your kids happy. And it pains when someone's not happy, if they don't do well in school or in sports, or they're not excelling the way they want to, or they don't get into the college they want to, right? Like, you parents can empathize and understand. But I always come back to, again, like, thank God they have their health, because there are kids who don't, and there are many people who are battling some very significant things. So one of my greatest fears is that something bad would happen to my wife or kids. And she asked for 3. So I guess the third one would be related to the first one, but this is kind of deep. My another fear I'd have is that I'm not going to change. That I'm not going to change. That I'm just going to keep being who I am. I guess not being who I am, but doing what I do every day. Because I don't want to be the man that I am today in 10 years from now, if that makes sense. 10 years ago, I didn't even have my first book, Impact Body Plan. I wasn't speaking like I am now. I didn't have a podcast. I didn't have 3 books. I love what I do. But I also love new challenges, and I want to continue to evolve. So I want to show up who I am every day with what I'm doing today, but who I am today is not where I want to be in 10 years from now. So one of my fears is not changing because I'm content with being who I am and being good with what I'm being good with. I want to continue to tap into my potential, again, back to number 1, and I want to continue to evolve and change. And for whatever God brings me opportunity-wise, I want to tap into that. And if it meant that I have to pivot and do things at Fitness Quest 10, or with speaking, or with writing, or ways to serve humanity in bigger and greater ways, then I want to make sure that I can say yes to that and not just rely on, hey, things are good, so I'm not going to change. Deep question right there. I'm going to go to a simple one. Let me go to a simple one. Donnell Dutton. Do you ever just grab a bag of chips or something considered not healthy and go to town on it? I'm enjoying these questions today. What do y'all think? The answer is yes, I do. Not chips. Chips aren't my thing. Pizza, that's another story. If you put a New York style pizza in front of my face, good chances I'm not going to have 1 or even 2 slices. I'm going to town, and I'm going back to like my high school days when I could eat as much as I want and it didn't matter. So yeah, pizza and chocolate covered almonds. Chocolate covered almonds. Man, I won't eat the whole bag, but maybe half the bag. I'm going to town on those darn chocolate covered almonds. So Donnell, yes, I do. I don't have the whole bag of chips, but I'll have a half a bag sometimes of the chocolate covered almonds if the stress is high, especially now. It's higher than normal on that. So Maria Meweiss, love Maria. What's up, Maria? Great question here. How do you balance helping others to be better, accomplish goals without doing it for them, and without sacrificing your own sense of self and purpose? Deep question here. This is a good one. Let me repeat that. Listen to this. How do you balance helping others to be better, accomplish goals without doing it for them, but without sacrificing your own sense of self and purpose? So what I would say on this is, number 1, first, it comes down to, what is your own self and purpose? What are you all about? Because when you can really try to crystallize that right now, and many folks are really doing some deep soul searching in this time, is that once you identify that, then you can serve other people more admirably and greater when you do that. There's one thing that sometimes drives me nuts. One thing that drives me nuts as a trainer and a coach is that if I want greatness for someone more than they want it for themselves, that drives me nuts. If someone tells me they want to be a Pro Bowl player, an all-star in baseball or basketball, but they're not willing to actually show up and do the work, they say they want to be great, but they're not willing to do the work, or someone that tells me they want to make more money, hey, can I have a raise? But they're not willing to pay the price for what it does to have a raise, because it takes more work, it takes more output, it takes more impact to have a, quote, raise. If someone wants more, it typically not necessarily means just doing more, it's being more. So now is a great time to be more. So I guess the question that I would ask is, what is it that you want, and how can you help serve someone to be more so they can do more? You got to first find it. You got to find it. And you got to live it. You got to find it. You got to live it. Then once you have that then you got to share it. And then you got to instill it in somebody else. Ooh, I like that. Find it, live it, share it, instill it. Find it, live it, share it, instill it. So Maria, that's a great question. But again, guys, keep going deep inside your own self and what your purpose is, and ask God what that is, and then go help others discover that same purpose. Find it, live it, share it, instill it. Nice. I like it. Matthew Fox, how do I get back into movement and fitness after being off for over a month? I'm concerned about pushing too hard too fast. Matthew Fox, thank you for that question. Absolutely. It's time to get moving, folks. The only way to get through this with some sense of sanity is we must move. Please move right now. If you're moving, give me a smile, give me a hoorah out there. If you're walking the neighborhood, pump your arms up in the hand so people will drive by like, what is she doing? What is he doing? What is he listening to? What is she listening to? You're like, don't worry, it's the Impact Show. TD's firing me up right now. So what do? You start off with walking 10 to 20 minutes a day, every day. 10 to 20 minutes walking every day. Right now, it's about frequency, not intensity. Frequency, not intensity. And sometimes it's multiple times a day. So if you can get out there and give me 10 to 20 minutes a day, every day, you are going to be better off for that. Now, if you want to amp it up a little bit, 3 times a week, getting back into it, 3 times a week, for 10 to 20 minutes after your walk, because I want you walking most every day of the week, bodyweight squats, push-ups, and core work. Bodyweight squats, push-ups, core work. Bodyweight squats, push-ups, and core work. 10 to 20 reps of those 3 things, 10 to 20 minutes, boom, you're done. You're happy, you're smiling, and you're hitting me with an email or a DM like, hey, Todd, thanks so much. That fired me up that I actually moved, and I moved. I went back. I was a better mom or dad. I actually got some prolific work done today. So Matthew Fox, thank you. Frequency over intensity. A couple more questions here as time. I can't believe the time is almost up. So pick up the pace if you're out there walking right now. Josh Mickey, speaking of the Mick, man, this was my first athletes I ever worked with, was a professional baseball player. Josh Mickey, I still remember, man, that power wheel and that One More Time song playing and you going forward, backward, 3-hand positions. Man, you always had the work ethic of a mule, man, and what great talent. Josh, thank you for the question. He says, hey, TD, while everything is shut down, I find myself mentally just playing for the tie and putting my goals on hold until everything reopens and gets back to normal. How do you stay motivated when it's so easy to say, I'll get after it tomorrow? I miss my FQ10 family. Oh, Mick, man, this is a great question. Is anyone else kind of feeling the same thing? Sometimes you're playing for the tie and you know you should be pivoting, but you don't have the motivation. I think I had 3 people in the last week alone say to me that they know they need to pivot their business right now, but they just don't have the oomph to put into it. Like they can't wait to get back to normal. They don't have that motivation. And I keep saying, well, you can't wait. You got to find out what you want your business and life to look like, and you got to work for that now. You got to do it. So, Josh, first, to be honest, like even now, sometimes when it comes to playing for the tie nutritionally, sometimes I'm like, man, I am totally playing for the tie right now because I got like this morning, I got a great workout in this morning, right? I just finished it. Again, please take a deep breath in. You can still probably smell me, but sometimes like the nutrition doesn't match up to the frequency or intensity I'm doing with my exercise. It's truly playing for the tie, but mentally, I don't want us playing for the tie mentally. So how do we do that, right? Number 1, permit yourself to get like next, I got to move on. Movement in the morning is key. Movement in the morning is going to get that. Again, I always say it, motion is lotion and movement is medicine. Motion is lotion and movement is medicine. Motion is lotion and movement is medicine. It's absolutely paramount and key that right now that this is something we are doing every day. And here's what I would say, Josh, double down on your output. Double down on it. Like, what I mean by that, like right now for me, I'm doubling down on my output. I'm doing at least double the amounts of lives every day. I'm doing the Good News Network at 12 noon. So I've like 7 times that. Lives, digital programs like the Get Yoked, coaching calls for the Mastermind program, podcasts, communication with Fitness Quest 10 team and members. Why? Because it keeps me in create mode. And create mode is really good for the brain, because when you're in create mode, you go into output mode versus just input mode. And right now, there's a lot of negative things coming in from the outside world. So I'm fueling up the inside and then projecting out, putting out. How do you slip into create mode? Folks, how do we slip into create mode? You've got to find something that you can sink your teeth into. What can you sink your teeth into right now? And I don't know, maybe it's something that you've been wanting to do for months or even years, but what is it that you haven't done and you want to do it now? What is it? And it could be physical goals. Maybe you're like, you know what? I feel like garbage right now, but I got to get my mind right. I got to get moving. Maybe it's a physical goal. Perhaps it's a spiritual goal. Maybe it's 30 to 60 minutes a day in time of faith. And you're really enhancing your own faith. Maybe it's personal development and growth. There's a lot of great opportunities right now to pursue your own personal development and growth. Some of the Ivy League schools are giving out free courses. There's courses all over the place where people are actually giving away their best content for free right now. There's opportunities to grow. Maybe you want to develop a hobby or develop a musical instrument skill on that. Or maybe it's your business. Think about that for your business right now. How do you want to grow your business? Or maybe you don't want to grow your business. Maybe you want to actually downsize your business. This is a great time to strategize about what you want for your business. Perhaps you want to bring it online, or maybe you don't like it online and you can't wait to get back to your brick and mortar business, whatever that industry is. And you're like, okay, I need to do these things. What did James Clear say a few weeks ago in the podcast? He talked about effort sets your floor and strategy sets your ceiling. So we've got to have effort, but we have to have strategy as well. So ultimately, how do you find that again? How do you find yourself overcoming playing for the tie mentality? Number one, I'd say you snap that band if you've got that going on every now and then, even like myself, because it is real. You got to fight it. But again, you go for more walks. You get out in nature and you think. You meditate on it. You pray about it. And then you ultimately take action, because action begets creation. Action creates that movement, that momentum that will allow you to go and to flow. So today, declare today that you're going to take action. You're going to create output. So that output is going to impact someone listening in right now in their home office, in their home, in their gym, out as in their walk, or they're driving right now. You're like, you know what? I've got to do this. I'm going to create this. I'm going to write my book. I'm going to write my memoirs. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start it today. And 1 to 2 hours a day. It doesn't have to be the whole day. Just 1 to 2 hours. That's all you have to do. Oh my gosh, I hit the 30-minute mark and I didn't get through nearly as many questions as I wanted to. Let me give you, and then some real quick. I'll make this rapid fire on this. Man, these are some great questions. Gretchen Schupack, what's the one food healthy food that you can't live without? Does protein shakes count? I can't live without protein shakes. Right now I'm doing a lot of protein shakes. I've collagen protein and whey protein. I've got them both going in, but protein shakes. And if it had to be a food, let's say it doesn't count as a food because I have almond milk and protein in there. I would say it's not just one food. Eggs and oatmeal. Eggs and oatmeal. I am a breakfast guy. I sometimes do breakfast for dinners, but eggs and oatmeal would be that. And last question. I got it. This is a great one. Lori Erlenbach. Thank you, Lori, for this question. Check this out. How can I prepare myself to wear a mask in public? I have a panic attack and feel like I can't breathe. Then I'm even more panicked. I will not be able to leave my house for a year. I know I need to get my mind right, but I can't breathe. Folks, that's real. That's real talk right there. Because I don't know about where you live in the world, but here in San Diego, we're going to be wearing masks for a while coming up. And I do not want anyone to feel panic because of a mask over your face or over your nose and mouth. So what can you do? And I thought about this, Lori. I think you got to do it like any kind of habit that you have to overcome. You've got to start with very, very small increments of you wear it for 2 minutes. You wear it for 2 minutes around the house. And most importantly, this, you've got to work on your breath and visualize that it's going to be fine. That at any time, you could always take your mask off or up. You always have an option to get out, right? You always can just lift it up or take it down. What I want you to do is, it's going to be okay, is to have a mantra. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But to breathe, to put the mask over your face. And this is a real, some of you are going to face this, like you're getting claustrophobia with this over your face, is work on your breath work. That's why I'm a huge advocate right now, getting in your breath work, relaxing, and putting the mask over your face for just a minute or two. Vacuum around the house or do some gardening with the mask on. And breathe and realize it's okay. And realize that right now with a mask over your face, you're going to be fine, that you're not going to die, that it's going to protect you. And you continue to use positive language to yourself over and over and over again. You can always take it off if you would like. So Lori, hang in there, continue to breathe, start with small increments, work on visualization, seeing yourself out in public wearing a mask. It's okay. Everyone's going to have a mask on, and don't let yourself go to a dark, deep place that's going to go into an abyss of negativity. Realize that it's all going to be okay, and it will be. My friends, thank you for listening today. I did go a little bit OT. I said I'd go 30 minutes, and I'm a little bit over that. But hey, I really hope that this served you well today. And as always, I appreciate you listening in today. And wherever you are right now, let's just say a little prayer that your day is blessed. Father, thank you so much that on this podcast, it can be a vehicle and a medium to lift up people's bodies, minds, and spirits. Please allow these questions to continue to flow in as they come in from all around the world. People are listening in and just sharing in the gospel of motivation and inspiration and getting the body, mind, and spirit right. Please strengthen us today. Please allow us to know that we are going to get through this. We will get through this as a band of brothers and sisters as we come together, that we are going to get through this, and that we just need to continue to do as they say we should do so that we can just squash this COVID-19, and that our hells can be blessed and our lives can be blessed as well. In your name we pray. Amen, amen, amen. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Go out there and have an incredible day. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Keep hitting us up on social media. I see all of those things. And until next time, remember to go out there, train hard, eat right, live inspired, and get your mind right.